All right, you guys saw the thumbnail. Here we go. Full N55 teardown. Let's get on this. Got the blocks stripped down, and I am down to pulling injectors, which you need a special tool for. So I've got obviously valve cover, rod bearings, fuel injection, B58 coils, different parts of spool, helix overdrive, fuel pump, water pump, thermostat, alternator, housing, oil filter gasket housing, pulley tensioner. I took the whole intake and throttle body off, got the starter attached to it, and the DME and all the wiring harness. Pure Sage 2 turbo and my Turbo Smart blow off valve that is going away. So I had to cut the chain in order to get the crank free. So I need to, there's been some debate on whether or not the N55 crank is the same as the S55 crank that's right there. And so I'm gonna be measuring that here in a little bit. And so we'll get that measured and check that out. And then I'm gonna be figuring out a way to get these injectors out. So let's get on that right now. Still warm. When you do these, you want to be very careful to come straight up. You don't want to oval where the injector seats into the block. You'll be in big trouble if you do that. All right, everybody, that's going to be a wrap for this video. I don't think I'm going to take this any further right now until I am actually physically taking the next step. So I've done some more research and talked with some tuners and engine builders and machine shops. And basically where I'm at is if I end up closing this deck, it's going to definitely change and put pressure on the cylinder walls, and I will need to get this rehoned. If I get it rehoned, I need to go with an 84.5mm piston. So I'm gonna take this to the machine shop, check all the cylinders for roundness. There's no scoring on any of them. They all look really nice. So if that's the case, I'll be able to go with 84s. If I'm out of round on any of these and I need to hone it anyways, then I'm going to close the deck, get it honed anyways, and then I'm gonna have to order and source some new 84.5mm pistons. So I'm just kind of waiting on that because that'll obviously affect budget and whatnot. The other thing I'm looking at is the piston valve springs. I'm going for S85 valve springs because I am looking to increase red line. I'm shooting for a 9,000 RPM red line on this build, and so I need to get that taken care of. Let's see what else. We're also going with, and here's a big debate, an N52 exhaust cam. Not just any N52 exhaust cam, but from a manual. In these cars, and we've torn these motors apart so we know what we're looking at here, the Flowform cam are actually a little bit thinner for higher revs. And I took it back to the guy, but I had an N52 exhaust cam here, and it measured 1mm taller than the stock N55 exhaust cam. So there is a difference. And then I've got some MILVs here that are 1mm smaller to help valve lift as well too. So that's gonna help valve lift and bring in more air on the intake stroke. And then the cam would be on the exit stroke, of course, or exhaust stroke. So we're trying to get the head flowing. I don't think I'm necessarily gonna do any porting or polishing on the head, but just valve train adjustments to get this thing breathing. So that's kind of where we're at. So I'm gonna start working with the machine shop. So you'll probably see that in the next video, along with fabbing up the lower mount turbo setup and assembly of everything. One final thing over here, the fact that we are going with a high rev engine has led me to the decision to go ahead and sell this. And so I'm selling my Helix Overdrive. Don't want to be having that stressing the timing chain or the vacuum and oil auxiliary chain and messing with timing and potentially cracking the block. There's been a couple people reported, even with this reinforcement on built motors, when you're really pushing it, that can be a liability. So I'm gonna be going with port injection. The size of my injectors on that are still to be determined. I gotta check and see. I'm shooting again for about 900 horsepower. So I'm gonna check that out and see what I need to do. And so the fueling options have changed. So that means motive reflex, which will be nice because it can control my low pressure fuel pump better. And I'm probably gonna need a dual bucket low pressure fuel pump. And it will also control my meth as well too. So always good to have meth under control. So that's where we're at. That's kind of where we're headed and the research that I've done. PS2 is going to a new home soon. The downpipe's probably gonna have to go because that's oversized with the internal wastegate. It's a lot bigger than the output on that Precision over there. So that's going. So just a lot of stuff to take into consideration and get sorted out. But that is the summary of the build at this point. And so we're just gonna keep on moving forward. Please sure to like and subscribe and let me know if you have any questions or comments or thoughts. Definitely a fun build. It just takes a lot of time, money, effort, and planning. So we will get going on this. Thanks, guys.